Hi, it's Therese in Lost in Paper. I'm here for Altenew today, and I've got this Lotus stamp set. I really love Lotus flowers, and this one is just a stunner. I'm going to be stamping out a few different flowers because I wasn't really sure which way I was going to go with this card. So what I like to do is just stamp out a few extras, and then if I want to change up my mind during the making of the card, I can, which I did, obviously, because I was going to do like a pink and grey card, but then went totally on a different track. But that's okay. I'm using the cotton candy to stamp out the base colour or the solid colour that's behind the actual flower. And then I've got my jet black ink and I'm going to stamp the overlay. So it is a layering stamp set, but it's a different style. It's kind of more sketchy, which is a lot of fun. And for this card, I didn't want to add any shading, but you could simply do that if you wanted to have something that's a little bit more realistic. You could simply add some shading to your images with some pencils. So I'm stamping out two of each. It's a flower, bud, and the open flower. Because like I said, I've got no idea where I'm going with this, and it was just easier to have a few different ones and I can move them around on my card front and work out my design later on. So these are really easy to line up. I simply just look over the top. If you would prefer to do it in a misty, that would actually make it really easy as well. But I just love these blocks from Altenew. They're so nice to use. They're really fun. And now that I've just about got all my flowers stamped out, I'm starting to think about my leaves, and I want them to be sort of a teal colour, and I don't have a ink in that colour. So what I decided to do was actually just stamp it directly onto some, this is a robin's egg cardstock, which is a really pretty colour. And by using my stamps this way, I'm actually getting a lot more from them. I'm just not limited. Paper piecing is a great way to get more from your stamps and a totally different look as well. And speaking of paper piecing, that means I'm going to have to cut all these out now. I don't have the matching dies for this stamp set, and I'll say that in brackets yet because I plan on getting them. And I actually, because I stamped on the coloured cardstock, wouldn't have wanted the edges to have a white edge anyway, so it probably suited me to do all this fussy cutting, and it really didn't take me that long. It was a lot easier to do than I thought it would be, even with these really fine lines and images. So I won't make you sit through all of this. I'm literally just going to cut all of my flowers and leaves and stems out, and then just to make them look a little bit more finished off, I have used a grey. I often like to use a grey marker pen instead of a black around the edges of my images. So now I'm going to start working on the sentiment, and I've got a piece of the spicy yogurt cardstock. I love this stuff, and I know it was going to be a grey and pink card, but once I put all these images onto the spicy yogurt, I just kept coming back to it. I kept trying to put this on grey cardstock, and it would have looked fine, but I thought it looked better on the yogurt one. So I have Thank You. This is a really pretty font from the Oriental Orchid stamp set. And from the Succulents set, I've got another saying, which is For Your Hospitality. And I thought these two went really well together. And I'm stamping them out in some jet black ink and using the Misty to make sure they're nice and straight. So now I've moved my flowers and leaves around a little bit, and this is my final, well, nearly my final part of the design. Literally just adhering them. I'm using a combination of Tombow and the matte medium. I like the Tombow because it dries quicker. I like the matte medium because it doesn't leave any bits of residue or shiny, so I try and use the matte medium on the thinner elements. So I'm just literally going to adhere all these bits directly to my card front now, And I find if the matte medium is taking too long to dry, although it didn't seem to this time, I just sit a block or something on top and wait a few minutes. I'm using some really thin foam, like double-sided foam, on the edges of my leaves just so the tips of them sit up a little bit. But other than that, most things are actually just getting adhered directly to the front of the card. Oh, I forgot to include that I've actually, the card base is a white card base, and I've just cut a piece of the spicy yogurt cardstock to fit on front because I don't want to waste any by making a whole card out of it. I've got to make it stretch as long as I can. And I did like the way that these colours looked on the grey cardstock, but I liked it better on the spicy yogurt. But I could easily do another version on the grey. That's what my husband says. If you can't make your mind up, why don't you just do one of each? I don't think he gets it. Or maybe he does and I don't. I'm not sure. So this is the long stem leaf that I'm just popping up now. And I'm kind of looking at the card and thinking, I wish I hadn't have cut off those stems on the other flowers. It just didn't look right once I got the long stem coming through the... I didn't think it looked right anyway. So I've simply just stamped and cut out another stem, and I'm adding a little bit of that to both the flowers. And that's pretty much my card for today. So I just want to say thanks for joining me. I've had heaps of fun. Till next time, happy paper crafting. Bye.